This is video reflection 7 or 8 over the second half of Hidden in the Rubble, and I think this has to be the most heart-wrenching reading that we've had so far in the class. And like I said last week, I really like this book because it wasn't written by a politician, it wasn't written by a scholar. It's just a guy describing what he's seeing, and a lot of the times, especially in this half of the book, it's not a very pretty thing. One of the things that shocks me the most, really, which if I'm putting myself in this guy's shoes, is, would I actually be brave enough to do what this guy did? Because, the airport there, as soon as the earthquake happened, was destroyed. So when he heard about the earthquake, he really wanted to get there and help out. The only way he was going to get there is if he paid $12,000 to fly in there, and then spending that money, he doesn't even know if he's going to have shelter or a car. He was pretty much banking on Father Tom being there and helping him out. And even then, he didn't know if Uncle Tom was all right because he heard he'd been hurt and all that. So this guy took a big chance and, got some donations and ended up going there. And I just try to put myself in those shoes. Like if somebody was like, Scott, you can go help out. We can probably get you a plane ticket on this sketchy airplane, but when you get there, since you spent so much money, we don't even know if you're going to have a car and you're going to be walking around the streets. Keep in mind, this is after a disaster in a poverty-stricken area. Nobody really knows how the people are going to react. Are people going to riot? Are people going to loot? You're going to be in the middle of hell pretty much. You are going to see everything, hear everything, and you are not going to have anything to shield you from it. And that is a very, very powerful thing. And this guy totally just took a chance and went for it. And I would like to say I would do the same thing, but, honestly, probably would have been like, that doesn't sound too safe, so I'm not going to do that. I found some of the most heartbreaking material was when he went into the hospital, and he talks about that group of like 13 doctors who had gotten there from New York City. If you're a doctor in New York City in a hospital or an ER, you've probably seen a lot of stuff, but it says they performed like 40 amputations in 2 days and that they were just swamped, didn't know what to do. And these are doctors who are trained in America to when something like that happens, you're supposed to save the limb, right? You're supposed to do everything you can to save somebody's leg. And they couldn't do it. They were just having to just cut legs off, cut arms off. They performed like 60 operations. And he talks about he actually got to record one on film where they did end up saving this woman's legs, but it was just some really intense stuff. And he talks about the stench, he talks about the screams, and when he said the screams, all I thought about was the clip of that little boy in the video we watched. I think it was last week or the week before, where he had the head injury and the leg injury, and he was just crying why. And I don't know if I could be in that situation and stay there for a prolonged period of time. It would be so out of anything I've experienced before. It's pretty much just absolute chaos, and that chaos pretty much permeates this whole chapter, I think. And he says a lot of really, I guess you could say, poignant statements. Like I said, or like Rob said, it's very Twitter and Facebook friendly things. He says, filming poverty is different from filming a disaster, and in a case where the disaster in an area of intense poverty happens, the tension is dramatically increased. Filming the reality of the disaster in Haiti, where life and death situations are constant and where death indeed is too much part of the story, is essential in helping us understand the paramount importance of compassion, which has the capacity to not only to comfort the hurting, but also unite us in our common humanity. And that whole idea of compassion is pretty much throughout this entire book. And he talks about again how he wanted to identify with the victims of Haiti. So like he was laying there at night and he was like, I'm laying here in the street. Why don't I pretend like I'm one of those people living in a hospital laying there? I want to identify with them. Solidarity, kind of like we were talking about simulating the slums. He wanted to get in the mind frame of identifying with one of the Haiti earthquake victims, and he's just like, I can't do it because my life is so much different. And he kind of felt out of touch in that moment, but overall, this guy's one brave dude. Really like this book. In regards to this sheet of, kind of doing things to change your life, over the week I tried to limit my media consumption, and I work in the media. I'm around TV and radio all the time. And then like coming home and watching TV on top of that and radio, it's already a little too much overkill for me, and it takes a lot away from other things I should be doing. So I tried to limit my media consumption and evaluate the commitments that I've got, which is listed on here. Just think about things that I need to stay steadfast in, like instead of coming home and relaxing and taking a load off, I should think about what I've got coming up next, which I'm not saying that I can't have a little bit of time off, but I need to put more thought into things coming up.